What's up, traders? It's your boy Ace Boogie coming to you live and direct. And I got one question for you. Who's up mobbing with the late night crew? Listen, we're doing the late night video lesson. I'm tired. I'm gonna be here 10 minutes tops, and I'm going to bed straight like that. So listen, I want to cover the last trade I took in 2021 and the first trade I took in 2022. Last trade I took a 2020. I can't even talk. See, look at me. Last trade I took a 2021 was NTRB, and this one was a crazy mover. It went from like the 4s to the 12s. 4 times your money if you capture the whole thing, which no one really does. But I captured a good piece of it here. So I saw it trading, and one thing to take away from all this is you got to be conscious of the current market conditions and what's hot. You got to know what sector is hot. This one happens to be a biotech. Biotechs are hot right now. What float size is hot. Low floats are hot. They tend to be always hot. And you got to know what price range is hot. So these $3, $4, $5 stocks running to $9, $10, $11, $12 has been pretty common, the last couple of weeks. So, and this one has really set the market on fire too. So now it's going to unlock more of those same price range stocks to do this same type of move. But getting back to the actual trade, saw it trading big percent gainer pre-market. We always scan for biggest gainers with volume. And it had the news. It had the FDA approval news, I believe. Don't quote me on it. Let me see. NTRB, Nutriband. Let's see, what was the news? So it is a 4 million float. And the news on the 31st was full patent from. Oh yeah, that wasn't even it's the South Korea patent thing. They got a patent from South Korea about what they can use as far as some drugs or some shit, something like that. It doesn't really matter what it is. It just matters on how everyone else responds to it. So when that news had dropped in the morning, or it dropped overnight, whatever, it ended up being a big percent gainer with high volume. So it's not your job to dissect the news and prove it wrong. If everyone else thinks the news is good and the stock is reacting, then you got to be with it. For me, it's just like a check in the box. If it has news and it has more duration for it, more lengthy duration for it to run. If it doesn't have news, it's probably going to pop and drop. So it checked the box for the news in my criteria. So with all that being said, the news, the price range, the fact that it was up, the float size, it had the sauce. Obviously, shorts are going to pile in just because of it, and that's the secret sauce to big moves like this. So it opened up and started fading, and I was able to catch a good dip off the fade. I saw it bottom out, and I waited for it to start curling up, making the higher lows, and I got a killer sniper entry right under 7. I think it was like 680. Wrote it up. As soon as I entered, it was like immediately popped up. So timing on that one was impeccable. But despite for a few minutes, I was just letting it ride, and of course it got halted because it went from sub 6 or sub 7 to 750 in like 3 minutes. So SEC halted it. It resumed. After it resumed, it popped up. I gave it like another 40 seconds or whatever. I don't usually hold too long after halts. I might count out 12 seconds and sell. But sold into that pop, and from that dip buy to that halt resume level, that was a easy 20%. Yeah, it's about 20%. But NTRB was far from done, even though I was. So I was, one and done, got my money, ran, took it, got out, and never looked back. Mainly because I had some other stuff going on, so I didn't have the time to facilitate any more trades. But as you can see, it also had a secondary run, and that secondary run was way better than that first run. So it had topped out around this 912, 910 area, came back down, consolidated, held a level, basically held a dollar a share pullback, grinded back up, and broke out over that same area. So when you see the stocks hold levels, grind back up, and then break out over the level that was previous resistance, boom, that's an entry all day. You got to be buying that if you're present. It's still very much the morning. It's not like you're buying at midday. It's 10 a.m. So this was a great area to be buying. And as you can see, it went from 9, 10 all the way up to 12. So just give you a little percentage points on that. That's another 30%. So this one had an incredible move, and it had the right mix of catalyst, volume, and percent gain. And that was my last trade of 2021. NTRB. This one spiked up, consolidated, went sideways, and ended up falling off a cliff. But it's coming back now, so it ended up pretty much falling down. But now it's kind of holding somewhat of a level, and it's kind of bouncing back. So we'll see if it can go back green. So that was NTRB. And the first trade of 2022 is IMMX, and I traded this morning. Let me zoom in some, get right. And this one, it's not showing, well, I guess it's not going to show it because it's a new day. Oh no, it does show some of it. Alright, so this one, sniper entry. So because of NTRB, I had conviction with this one to get in the pre-market. NTRB and IMMX are similar as far as them being in the same sector. They're both biotechs. They both had approval news. IMMX, I gotta go back to Yahoo Finance for that one, but it had FDA approval news for like some cancer treatment or something like that, and it was up in the pre-market, and it also had an all-time high breakout. So if you go back to the daily, which I usually pull up, go back to the daily, the all-time highs was right here in the 630s, and it broke out over that when it had that news drop in the pre-market, and it went from basically 3 to 650, and then pulled back and held like 450, 475 area. So, but that 630 area is like right in here, so it broke out over that, and then slowly but surely it grinded its way back to that 630 area right here. When it popped right here, this was it, basically popping back over 630, basically confirming it really on the 625 area, and then continuing. But here's my trade. My trade was I saw it grinding up. I saw the pullback, and I saw the higher low. Put in the low, then I put in the higher low, then I put in the higher low, then I had the VWAP push. I'm like, all right, we're trending. So this one's, back over VWAP is back in play for me as far as it spiking back up to retest highs. So I was really conscious at the time. I'm thinking, okay, if this thing is going to go and people haven't seen the big move, it hasn't had a higher day break yet. That's another thing. It's not like it's 3-4 legs up or 2-3 legs up. It only had one high a day and then one pullback, and it never broke out over the high again. So I figured if it can break out over the high again, we can get at least another leg or two if I'm lucky. So knowing that and knowing how brokerages work, I know that 9 o'clock was when the Robinhood traders and a lot of other brokerages opened their pre-market. And because of that, you know, they've probably been seeing this price action or reading news about, or, you know, seeing the like the websites showing that this is a big percent gain or whatnot, and they were probably been anxious to get in. So I was kind of anticipating a 9 a.m. surge. So right when they had this dip down to about 550 and then it pop up to 575, after I saw that it can break back over to 575, it kind of went to 575, got rejected, came back down and popped back over. Once it popped back over, that was my entry, because I figured it was going to get to $6 next, and if it definitely gets over 6, it was going to run. So I wanted to give myself a little buffer before 6 rather than buying right at 6 over these highs. But this area right here is really what I was looking at, this area right in the here. I figured if it breaks out above that, it can definitely get to these highs for sure. And that's what it did. I let it ride pre-market. It popped up a leg, kind of started basing up here. And then when the market opened, as soon as the market opened, it shot up from 7 to 770. And my goals were hit. You know, I'm up at this point.
Market data connection lost.
Chart. I'm up about 32%. So
market data connection reestablished.
Way the price action was looking, I knew that it was going to get halted, so I didn't want to stay in the hold. Even though I know that sometimes it pops and you can get a better price, didn't want to be in the hold. I like controlling my stuff when I can. So I got out right as it halted. Like, I was probably the last order that I got out before I halted, because it was kind of crazy. And then it had like and then it had the 10-minute hold. I thought it was going to have a 5-minute hold. Then it had the extended 10-minute timeout. So I wasn't really feeling it after that. 10-minute holds they usually pull more momentum out of the move than 5-minute holds. So it did pop up. I could have sold it, you know, $8.50, almost $9. I think $8.73 was the high, $8.70. So could have sold into any of this pop, probably made a little bit more, but 32% is 32%. On the way down, I was looking to maybe potentially dip by it, but then when I saw the halt to the downside, I said, nah, I'm leaving it alone. Anytime I see a halt to the downside, I'm kind of like automatically done with it, just because I don't like that type of price action at all. As you can see, it did have some, what are you talking about? As you can see, it did have some, you know, runs up to the 825 area, this area up here, but that resistance was true. It never could break back out, and now it's just kind of fading off back down where it came from, back into the 5s. So nothing too special about that except for the sniper trade. I do like the entry. I caught it at the right time, and I do like the exit. It just looks very pretty on the chart, you know, getting an entry this close to a bottom support area and catching an exit right at the top of a big candle. So let's try to make all our trades in 2022 look like these ones, like right here, just as smooth, just as sexy. And try to remember the concepts I talked about earlier. Knowing what market you in, knowing what price range is hot, knowing what sectors are hot, and knowing when they start getting cold. So you got, once these things start cooling off, you can't chase them when they're up 50% and still be successful. You gotta figure out where the money's moving to and stay always attached to that sector. So I lied. I am 14 minutes into my video, but I'm gonna call it here. Have a great night. See you in the chat room. Ace Boogie 2488 G5 Trades. We out. Peace.